ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। हरिः ॐ। पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वाम् अनुसन्दधामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणीम्। वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं। मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवम्। My namaskars to you all who are attending this class. We are towards the fag end of this fourth chapter, Jnana Karma Sannyasa Yoga. So one of the most beautiful chapters. And in the last class, we saw that Bhagavan concludes with the idea of different kinds of yajnas, and he says that all these yajnas, they are described through the knowers of these sacrifices. Evam bahuvida yajna vitata brahmano mukhe. Vitata is lie spread, scattered. Brahmano mukhe, it is taken as that Vedas, referring to the probably the Karma Kandas, Sanhita portion of it. So, but rather I said that this appears more appropriate, that referring to these ideas of Yajnavida coming in the earlier verse, Sarve Pete, Sarve Apiyete Yajnavido, Yajna Kshapita Kalmasha, Yajna Shishta Murta Bhujo, Yanti Brahma Sanatanam. So, there are Yajnavida who knows these sacrifices. Vida means who knows that, who had that knowledge. Yajna Kshapita Kalmasha, by the constant observation of these sacrifices, of different these ideas of sacrifices. Here Bhagavan has lifted this idea of sacrifice from being a mere ritual to the philosophy of life, by dedicating, committing our self-interest, our petty interest, for the higher good of all. So, Yajna Kshapita Kalmasha, due to constant observation of such sacrifices, meaning living in such spirit for a long time, they have known the secrets of this art of living, how to live with such high ideal, motivated by such high ideal, committed to such high ideal, and thus their kalmasha, the dross, the impurity in their mind or of their persona has gone. Kshapita kalmashaha. Kalmasha uh, is the impurity. This kalmasha word also came in the second chapter, in the very beginning. So, and these people, thus living their life and consuming what is called as yajna shishta amruta, and these people are called as yajna shishta amruta bhuja. So, living such a life with such spirit for the good of all and sacrificing their smaller interest towards that goal, and living on the resultant of it, being happy with that, being satisfied and contented with that it may sometimes bring hardship, uncomfortable situation, pleasantly accepting that, and sometimes great moments of joy and glory. So these people, they go to eternal truth, yanti brahma sanatanam, the eternal truth they reach to. Now these people, so these kinds of ideas, of higher ideas of sacrifices, they are to be known from such people. Vitataha brahmano mukhe. So meaning there are several such people and there are different such ideas. So karmajan vidhi tan sarvan. Know that they are born of deliberate effort, conscious will. Without that, with only laziness, one cannot attain greatness. And thus knowing that, meaning that the importance of this putting your mind, putting your faculties of your indriyas, of your mind, of your emotion and passion in a direction of such a high ideal, so you will become free. This is the philosophy of life Bhagavan is putting before us. Evam jnatva vimokshase. So karmajan vidhin tan sarvan, that they are all born out of karma. So I took its meaning in this way. Karma here especially focusing on its faculty of conscious deliberate effort. Everything is karma. Not doing anything is also karma. Isn't it? So higher ideal cannot be lived. No greatness, no worthwhileness, no value can come in any aspect of our life unless we put conscious, deliberate, directed effort into it. Now, in this context, there was raised a question in the comment. So, it said that, what to do when every such effort is thwarted by some power which lies beyond us. So so now, if we try to understand the context here, karma, now the effort, here are the two aspects, the internal one and the external one. Internal one, the karma, what is that? Your willingness, your state of mind, your subjective condition, approach to a situation. Whether you take it lying down or whether you think constructively, positively and probe into the matter. Definitely in the external world, not all our efforts become successful. So we have to change the course, we have to sometimes sit quietly, we have to sometimes take a step back. Everything is a part and parcel of methodology, of the strategy. They have to be dependent upon the external situation, the odds there are, and we have to find out the way to reach to our desired goal. It is also inside. Not all the time, it is not a smart work. That we have to understand, like suppose there is a student, okay, or there is a boy, and he is not very smart. Okay. It is not his natural tendency to concentrate in a study. Probably some other matters interest him. Might be it is very natural according to his samskaras to focus on some other matter. Maybe he is good with money handling or business or trade or commerce. Maybe he is good with the physical energy where he has to show physical prowess. Maybe he is good at that. So, but not particularly very good at taking a book and focusing himself and committing himself for say suppose half an hour or 45 minutes even. Forget long hours. And he somehow scores 50%. And his parents want, his teachers want, everybody, and a lot of schemes are being arranged that more number of tuitions and more number of hours, more number of exercises, etc., etc., etc. How far they can push him. And what is the total result of it? That we are forcing him to accept our ideal, which he is not ready to accept, which is not ready to align with. He is very reluctantly trying to go along with it, which he finds very unnatural to do that thing. We trying to force him, somehow he become 50 to 55 or at the most trying to approach 60. But at what cost? His all other natural abilities are thwarted, they are, what do you say, in the bud they are nipped. There is a lot of loss on other side also. That is not his natural tendency. Every person is unique. So situation inside or outside, every time we have to take a call according to the situation, according to what the odds are. And then we have to take a call. Here the idea is karmajan vidhi tan sarvan. So it is taught about, now Bhagavan has taught a different ideas of yajnas. How one can sacrifice in various ways. He has shown from this verse number 25th. Verse number 25th. Or 24th is the base verse we can say. And from 25th different examples are given until verse number 29. 29 or until 30th you can say. So every person has to find his own ideal, find his own natural inclination, to find the perfection within. Perfection, that's why Swamiji said, education is the manifestation of the perfection already within a man, a person, a human being. So perfection is not that what is the idea of perfection which lies with the teachers, his mentors, or parents, or society. That the person has to confirm and excel and achieve the top rank there, that cannot be called as perfection. Every person is unique and he has to try understand himself, that self-knowledge is power in this very relative sense. That how he can fare physically, intellectually, emotionally, etc. What are his natural faculties, strength, weaknesses, everything. This knowledge about oneself is strength, is power. Know yourself, know the world outside as far as unbiasedly, rationally as possible. Take a call, proceed. This process is happening every moment. The person who are the course of growth of any person, for any person, you should be improving on this course. Know yourself and know the world and take a call. What your dharma is, what your responsibility is, and how you should approach. Things may or may not fare in our way, and that is not the mean that we like a sheep or what it is called as. So, the male sheep, I forgot the word for it. Anyhow, so that it goes on hitting something. It goes on hitting something. So this is called as maturity, that any person with lot of efforts he develops, he earns for himself or herself. That when and how much to put effort, when to take a break and when to force yourself. It's also true of your inner growth, say in spiritual life, in your meditation. Taking break, taking a step back is a part of strategy, it's a part of method, yes. And pushing yourself is also part of method. It's also part of strategy, it's also part of process. Taking a stress, enduring a stress, without that growth and progress cannot happen. But irrationally doing so, it can break a person. So this is the secret of, this is the Madhyam Pantha. Knowing this, how to push, how much to push, and pushing your boundaries all the time, this is what growth is. So this is the meaning, this is the probably the solution, or this is the reconciliation of this idea. When there are such times, yes, such times comes in life of the every great person, and especially if you are following a higher ideal, so there are obstacles and impediment. Not always you can avoid them or circumvent them. Sometimes you have to cross over. So depending upon the situation, depending upon the odds you are within and without, you have to take the call. So, but here in this 32nd verse, Bhagavan is emphasizing the importance of this deliberateness, because Arjuna had given up his willingness to consider that proposal of fighting a war. So Bhagavan is emphasizing on that without karma, without this will, conscious, deliberate effort, no greatness, no value, no worth can be ever achieved. And in the 33rd verse, he said that, and also that all our actions, they finally culminates in the knowledge. Sarvam karma akhilam partha jnane parisamapyate. That verily all these actions of ours, they dissolve, they submerge, and finally culminate into the jnana. So in the 34th verse, where we had touched that now this knowledge, this science, this art of living, for or towards this higher ideal, how it is to be known, how that knowledge is to be gathered. I had said earlier in our earlier class that referring to this dialogues between Swamiji and his disciple Sharat Chandra Chakravarti, that Swamiji had replied, the only way to build character is to have the company of such person, to live alongside with him. So similar idea is reflected here. Tadvidhi, that have that knowledge. Tadvidhi, how? Pranipatena, that by prostrating, that means surrendering. Pariprashnana, that having this query, and through the service. Now this pariprashnana, this question, to ask the question to Guru or to such a person of wisdom. You might have seen, or even I have seen, you ask a question and these people who have that knowledge, they are not very reluctant to speak. They are reluctant to speak. They are not very interested. Unless they really can gauge how serious you are. So it's real taste of ours. It is not like just how casually asking a question and you get the answer. That's why this pariprashnena, samyak prashna. Pariprashna is samyak prashna. That you surrender, that has to be genuine. It must be convincing to the Guru. Guru who is Tattvadarshi Jnani. In that sense, Jnani. Not by learning books or gathering books, knowledge from the books. Not Jnani in that sense. Jnani in the sense of Tattvadarshi, that whatever little bit he has practiced, he has seen the heart of it. He had known the secret of it. That is Tattvadarshi. It can be any matter, any job, any aspect, any walk of life. Right from plumber, cleaner, motor mechanic. If he is certainly dedicatedly doing his job for a long period of time, he knows the secret of it. In that aspect, in that relative sense, in that limited sense, he is Tattvadarshi for that limited context. So, if you are genuine, your surrender is genuine, and you try to show the commitment, this sevaya, living alongside with him, or rather frequenting, paying more visits, and try to make a space, try to create a niche for yourself in his heart, in his consideration, so that he might give his mind and time and attention to you. And probably then he can answer your question. The pariprashnena. So, simple, casual asking something that, have you realized God? Can you give me samadhi? This question of mine will not carry any weight because I have not done enough for it. Reading Swami Vivekananda's life, I go somewhere and ask, have you realized God? Can I realize God? Even if some person is there that genuinely, if he has realized God, he will say, no, I have not probably. I have not understood this. Why will he waste his time and resources, which is not how cheaply that person is putting? He has not earned that cheaply. He has poured his heart's blood. Now, how much it means to you, then only it must reflect. And second aspect of asking question, this I say to many people with whom I talk or discuss about this progress and struggle of spiritual life, that this asking question, asking the right question is very essential thing of this spiritual journey. Especially if you have this knowledge path, the path of knowledge, the path of inquiry, the path of reason, if that is your dominant character, Jnana Marga, then framing the question in the right way, that is the secret. Because if you frame the question wrong, then you might as well get the answer and it will be very misdirecting to you. So framing the questions in the right way. So what is mean by framing the question in the right way? So it comes to that person after repeatedly doing it. For example, somebody gave this example that if you are in Hyderabad and you ask for the way to Taj Mahal. So Taj Mahal is not in Hyderabad, Taj Mahal is in Agra. And you are asking for a way to Taj Mahal. So first it is ridiculous that you are not supposed to ask for Taj Mahal there in Hyderabad. Maybe some other place is there. And on the top of that, so question is wrong in the first place. And on the top of that, somebody shows you the way to Taj Mahal. Now imagine where you must be going. Somebody shows you, so he must be equally drunkard or somebody, that he shows you the way to Taj Mahal in Hyderabad. So this part, what I mean by framing the question in the right way is properly analyzing our mind. As we become more and more familiarized with our own mind, as we learn to know ourselves more and more intimately, as and how our mind gives us access to its inner recesses, you know yourself in a better way. And then you try to learn to frame your questions in a better way. That's what I mean. This is the natural process of progress. And now, this another thing which I also say is that you must own a question. This is very important thing, that your question, if they are borrowed just for the matter of it, and it does not mean anything to you emotionally, so to say, that as if your life doesn't depend upon it. They are just mere curiosities. And then I don't think, even if your questions are in the right place, in the right context, and even if you get the answer, it does not amount to anything but information. So information cannot change any person, cannot bring any transformation. When that information becomes inspiration, become emotion, passion of that person, when that information turns into that feeling, when that information percolates down right from his head into his heart, then only it becomes some power. Then only it becomes an instrument of transformation. Then only it works through the hands and feet of that person. It paves its way toward assimilation, towards the becoming the character of that person. So, this is the idea of pariprashnena, very deep thought in our society, in our culture, in our tradition. Inquiry, asking a question, has been given a very important place, very high place, that even you say, Brahma Sutra. What is the first sutra? Athato Brahma Jidnyasa. Jidnyasa. The inquiry into the truth. Inquiry into that infinity, Brahma. Brihat. Brahma means infinity. So, Jidnyasa. Prashna. One Upanishad is dedicated to it, Prashna Upanishad. So, but its spirit, its value, this must be in these two sense. They must be framed right, and they must be owned by the inquirer. So thus pariprashnena, by prostration, pariprashnena and sevaya. So what will happen? Upadekshanti te jnanam jnaninah, jnani, before whom you will prostrate. So jnani, what kind of jnani? Tattvadarshi, who by practicing years of such dedicated life in the pursuit and coming in a pursuit of this knowledge, this particular profession, the walk of life, and he has committed to it, he is Tattvadarshi. That he had earned that knowledge by sacrifices, by his experience. And then he will give that piece of advice, upadekshanti. You will get that knowledge. Now, what this knowledge will do, we move forward to the next verse, the 35th verse. So, what this knowledge is meant for? What will it do? So, Bhagavan says here, Yajñātva, that having that knowledge, knowing that thing, Yat Jnātva, na punar moham, na punah, that not again, this moham, this delusion. Delusion is mistaking one thing for other. And illusion is something which is not there entirely and totally, means having unrelated thing there. Illusion means as if, means having something which is without any base. So this moha, mistaking one thing for other, this you will not have. Evam moha means the moha which Arjuna you have been inflicted with. The kind of delusion you have got, this kind of moha, this kind of delusion, you will not have again. How? If you know this, if you have got this knowledge, yad jnātva, na evam moham punar yasyasi. You will not have this delusion again. Yena bhutani, and in the second line, not only that it will work as a shield for you to save you from getting deluded. It is not only have a kind of a preventive effect from something bad, it certainly have its positive effect also. What kind of effect? So this great attainment of great destiny, the great goal of all the paths of this sadhana marga, of these practices, that will be attained. And what is that? Yena bhutani, that all beings, asheshena, that very comprehensively, without any doubt, asheshena, that nothing is remained, that very completely, absolutely. What you will do? All these being, drakshasi, you will be able to see atmani, in your being. All these beings you will be able to see in your being. And he says, atho mai, and also in me. So me as a Ishvara, that the universal self, and you also in the individual self, and all these beings. So what is the meaning? You will be able to see the oneness of this existence of Jiva, Ishvara and Jagat. Jiv, Jagat, Ishvara. When reading Vachanamrita or Kathamrita or the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, I came across this line of Sri Ramakrishna. And I was so impressed. Those words of Sri Ramakrishna, that I said to one of my brahmachari brothers when we were in TC, that Sri Ramakrishna has put all Vedanta philosophy in just one line. In just one line. All of it. And not leaving anything. Very comprehensively rather. So what does he say? He says, Sri Ramakrishna says in the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, that he alone, through his Maya, has become Jiv, Jagat and Ishvara. So, the acknowledgement of Jiv, Jagat and Ishvara, of this unity and through this Maya he has become. And it is the one entity which is reflected in these three Veds as Ishvara also, as Jagat also, and also Jiva also. So Bhagavan, he is saying that all beings, that is Jagat, you will be able to see in your being, that is Jiva, and in me also, that is Ishvara. The oneness, the coherence of this existence of this, all these three varying entities, which looks totally different in their character. Jagat, Jiva and Ishvara. They are but the one entity manifesting in three different ways. So, in this chapter, this is rather the second time Bhagavan is showing this the uniformity of these three entities. Like he said in the 5th verse, which came earlier, how does it start? Here, 6th verse, that Ajopi san avyaya atma bhutanam ishvaropi san prakrutim swam adhisthaya sambhavami atma mayaya. That Aja api san avyaya atma, that is Brahman, which is not born, the pure consciousness, unadulterated, without any attributes, Ajopi san avyaya atma. Then he says bhutanam ishvaraha, that is the universal self, that is the, as to put into Swamiji's word, the sum total of all self, of all beings. And then the individual being which this Bhutanam Ishvara, and then the Avatara, which takes a body like an individual and descends on earth, the descendant, the Avatara, who comes from top down. Avatara. So, and here again in 35th verse, he says that Yena Bhutani Asheshena Drakshasi Atmani Athomayi. So, this knowledge you will attain, which is the goal of all, the culmination, the Everest of the spiritual practices, of all spiritual sadhana, of all austerities, of all prayers, of all japa and all meditation and all samadhi. This is the Everest, beyond which it cannot be reached. Yena bhutani asheshena. So, Bhagavan is saying that knowing thus from such people, you will not get deluded anymore, and not only that, you will attain the highest. You will attain the highest. And further, there are very beautiful verses in the praise of the knowledge, in the praise of this knowledge of this uniformity of the existence of the world, of the individual being and the Ishvara. So, this knowledge is praised hereafter again in the couple of verses. So, the next verse. So, it says, Api chedasi papebhya, api chet asi papebhya, sarvebhya papakruttamaha. So, api means though, and even if, chet, even if you are papakruttama, you have done that worst kind of sins, and you are the worst kind of sinner, papebhya, sarvebhya, papakruttamaha. If you are such kind of person, even putting it to the highest degree, so to say, means in the best way possible, in the superlative degree. Api chet asi papebhya, sarvebhya, papakruttamaha. Even if you are such kind of person, and Bhagavan says there is a hope that you will be saved. There is nobody has to be demoralized. Nobody has to be dejected, get despondent. There is a way to become better, to save yourself. And he says in the next line, Sarvam jnana plavena eva vrujinam santarishyasi. That through this raft of knowledge, you will be saved, santarishyasi, that you shall go across of all these sins. Vrujinam is sins. So jnana plavena, by the raft of knowledge. So this is in the praise of that knowledge, that meaning that that knowledge is not something which you are going to gain at the end of it. It can work for the sinner. That means the sinner, the one who is sinner, who is at the bottommost pit of human degradation, so to say. If you have this piece of information, if you have the piece of knowledge, he can work that out. He can reach to the highest. He can save himself. He have to know this, accept this. It will make him pure. It will come in the next verse. It will save him from sinking, absolutely. That for any despondency, for any depression, this piece of knowledge, this should work as panacea. That person has to know this and has to work on this. Has to rediscover himself, his path, his objective, his goals. Remove the dross, remove that inertia, summon his will, gather his will, assert himself, and start walking the path towards the light from darkness. So, api chet asi papebhya sarvebhya papakruttamaha means the person who has already committed such sins, the worst kind of person. So to say, Bhagavan is saying, sarvebhya papebhya. So he kept no bar for it. But this raft of knowledge can make you cross all these sins, this ocean of sins, and usher you ashore, can make you reach the next shore. So, however, we see that suppose some person is there who is very depressed, dejected, or so to say, feel very guilty, trapped in his guilt of committing various kinds of bad things. And I read him this piece of knowledge, etc. And what is going to happen? Nothing is going to happen. So, important thing is that for that person, by himself or whoever bringing him that help probably, this idea must be very properly understood. What does this mean by this this unity of these three things? Jeev, Jagat and Ishvara. What are its implications? And why Bhagavan is saying that it has the potential to save a person who is sitting at the bottommost pit of the human character degradation. Why Bhagavan is saying that? First is, it should teach him that detachment, that he does not own everything, even if bad or good. It is only in the flow of this nature. Guna guneshu vartante. Iti matvana sajjate. Don't get attached even to bad or good. That it is in a natural progression. What with the repeated habit has become that with the repeated habits, again it can improve. With the flow of karma, when it has come down, with the karma it can go up. There is always possibility. It can bring hope and courage into that person. That Swamiji had composed a few lines. I find this in complete works. That one line I remember very much. I always and very prettily and very hope, a great message of hope. What did he say in Sanskrit? Atmaiva hi prabhavate na jadah kadachit. That Atman, the consciousness, that alone is going to shine and going to become powerful, dominate. It is going to dominate prabhavate, na jadak kadachit. Matter, the dead matter, jada, the inert matter, it cannot dominate. Its destiny is to attain that. This message is going to bring the hope that however down you may go, at one point of time, you cannot go below that, and you have to start progressing upward. So there is always hope for everyone, anyone, and hope for every person, every individual, till he attain the highest. To go further and further and further and further. This knowledge that what an individual is, what world is, if it becomes clearer, the objective of life is going to become, it should become clearer. That Sri Ramakrishna in the very opening pages of Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna says that God realization alone is the aim of human life. Now, as long as one person believes very sincerely in this idea, everything is going to be fine and okay with him or her. How truly you believe in this idea? How truly you believe in this idea that you are not this body, mind, but this is one coherent entity which is reflected as an individual and this world and Ishvara. One Brahman through its Maya has become this Jeev, Jagat and Ishvara. Or it is just means this piece of knowledge, does it create any emotional ruffle within your heart? See within yourself. Does it change anything for you? Ask yourself. Judge yourself. Does it really ask for any change towards your attitude towards this world, your decision you are making? Is it reflecting there? If so, then certainly it is going to bring the change. And here, karmajan vidhi tan sarvan. So all this, if I understand, yes, right also, but unless I put deliberate, conscious, willful effort, I am not going to realize it just by knowing it. As Ramakrishna puts it very succinctly, that if a thief come to know that in the next room there is a heap of gold, Will you be able to sleep? Sri Ramakrishna said that we need a faith, Vishwas, like that of that thief. I do not truly believe that. That's why I can sleep nicely. Isn't it? That there is a mine of happiness which is going to liberate me forever from this trap, from this joy and misery repeatedly again in going into cycles and cycles. How much do I feel to become free? That information, unless it is aligned with the passion of your heart, till then it cannot materialize. It cannot become realized. It cannot be realized. So, efforts are necessary for us, because before this, this transformation is coming. Means that person has put sufficient effort to counterbalance the forces which are pulling him down, and probably they never die. Means till that person realize, and even until, because there are the episodes in the life of Buddha or Jesus or many great people in the life of Tukaram, I find that just before realization, they had tremendous something in the Buddha's life it was referred as Mara, or in the Tukaram's life we see some kind of avishwas. That Tukaram suddenly came to question that whether he has been fooling himself all the while, that this is worthless, that is he the mad person, that simply calling upon Vittala. Great kind of disbelief shrouded his mind. So, but usually where the challenges are not going to end till the end. That's what we learn. So, but Sri Ramakrishna give another example, that a needle only has to wash off the mud on its surface, and then it is naturally going to gravitate towards the magnet. This kind of idea means, in another example we find that when a boatman is taking his boat upstream into the sea, and then so initially he has to struggle, but as soon as his boat falls into the stream, and then it moves along the current, what does he do then? He set up the shield, which is naturally carried forward by the force of the wind, and then he sets up his hubble bubble or his smoke. He relaxes. Swami Vivekananda also in the similar strain, he says in the inspired talks, similar idea. Point is that person, he has to initially to get grooved, find his groove, find his momentum, and he has to do that effort. Karmajan vidhitan sarvan. Without that, he is not going to come. He has to work, he has to accept this ideal, this principle, he has to accept the tool, he has to accept the challenge. As I said, own the question, own the challenge. You cannot push that, you cannot give him the target, that person. It is not going to work. That person's, unless he becomes inspired and owns the challenge, owns the target, accept the tool, have his own resolve upon which he can bank on, and does not look up to you for support. It will come in the 6th chapter. uddharet atmana atmanam na atmanam avasadayet. So, these things are but essential. Whenever I see the growth, whenever I see the progress, whenever somebody has to come from down up, this is the thing, he has to stand on his own feet. His own weaknesses, his own challenges, he has to face. That is the meaning I come to understand from face the brutes. Face the brutes, forget about facing the challenges outside. The real challenges lies within us. The odds that intimidate us, that you are a failure and make you disbelieve in yourself. That you have to believe in the potency of this indestructible Atman. That Atmaiva hi prabhavate na jada kadachit. That it is born to be free, it cannot be ever bound. It is destined to be free. It is infinite. However mud you might pile upon it, it cannot tarnish its original character. The belief in this Atman that is made it is bound to shine in its own glory, whatever you might do. So, this belief in yourself, accepting the challenge, accepting your own state, and taking this tool in your hand of this knowledge, and you have to work it out. That's what Bhagavan Buddha's last message was, that work out your own salvation. Attadipo bhava, atmadipo bhava. That be a light unto yourself. So this is the 36th verse, that with the help of this knowledge, sarvam jnana plavena eva vrujinam santarishyasi. So we conclude our today's talk here. We will take up next verse in our next class. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.